the second ever Petey's Picks podcast we got going on here. I got Instagram Live going on here. A couple people hopping now. Live here on YouTube as well. Hockey season's underway. First couple games started today at 3:00. Saw some games, some scores coming in. Super awesome, super exciting. Feels really, really good to have hockey back. Obviously, a lot of hurdles, a lot of hills to climb here the last couple weeks and couple months. But absolutely, hats off to the student athletes, the administrators, ADs, everybody involved that made this happen. So that we could have a season. Super, super awesome. I'm very appreciative, excited, proud of you guys for what you guys have done to get here. You guys have earned it, and now it's time to have some fun. But obviously, keep in mind everything we've been through. I mentioned it on the first video here on YouTube. If you guys go back and check it out, but we lost however many days we've already lost to our season so far. Don't take more games away from yourselves, right? Be smart, be safe, wear your masks, stay distanced. The last thing you want to do is have to forfeit games here down the stretch and take games away from yourselves. So always be mindful of that here. So what I want to do here, it's going to be a little bit different. I want to get the people involved here in some of the picks. And so I think what I'm going to do, looking at the schedule here, assuming this is all accurate or close to accurate on the hub, there's games every single day of the week right now. Like some teams are playing on Sundays. That's highly unusual. Hasn't happened in the past, but obviously a very different season. So with that, I might try to do like a game of the day on social media. So if you're following me on Twitter, that's at Petey's Picks _. Obviously here on Instagram as well, at Petey's.picks. I think what we might do here is do like a game of the day, and we'll actually put it up to you guys to decide and make your picks as to who you think might win the game. I'm gonna certainly do my best Lee Corso here and offer up some insight and some analysis as far as the matchups and big players' names to know in these games and things like that. But like I said, kind of put the pressure on you guys here to maybe make some picks and get involved as well. So should be fun here. Again, on Twitter, Instagram, and here on YouTube. So a couple games underway already, as I mentioned today. I think I saw Forest Hills Northeastern beat Granville. And then what was another one? East Grand Rapids over Grand Rapids Christian. So those were two games I had my eye on for today. I had another one, and look, like this schedule is going to be weird. Games are going to change. Opponents are going to change. I'm going to make some picks, talk about some teams, talk about some matchups. And at the end of the day, the games may get changed at the last minute just because of how this very unique schedule is going to work out. But I think we're all dealing with it, right? Like I got 3 or 4 tweets, I think, from TC Central about their revised schedule for the season. So we're dealing with it. There was a game today, Riverview versus Pioneer, that I believe got canceled or postponed just because Ann Arbor schools are still waiting on approval there. So approval for game action. So yeah, I may make picks for games that aren't even happening. We may talk about some matchups that may not come to fruition, but so be it. Like, let's have some fun. Let's talk hockey. And like I said, roll with the punches here. We got to be flexible. So yeah, first games today, looking ahead to Tuesday's matchups. There's a couple games that really caught my eye that I like a lot. I'm going to start with Howell and Novi, big KLAA matchup to get things started. These two teams actually played against each other to kick off last season as well. Blanking a little bit. I want to say it was a 4-3 final. Howell, maybe. I'd have to look it up. But these two teams typically pretty close, pretty competitive. I think game one of the season for both teams will be very much the same. Two pretty good goaltenders. I know Muirhead for Novi. Howell, I believe, has a pair of goaltenders that are pretty reliable in net as well. Obviously, don't know who's going to get the nod there, but I'd expect This to be another close back and forth game. I like Max Rawlis from Novi. Howell graduated a bunch of guys from last year's Final Four team, um, but they might have reloaded a little bit. They have a couple weapons there. They got a Patilla I know that I like. They got who's the other one? I'm blanking right now. Put on the spot here and have no notes. Like I got nothing. I don't want to say this is ill prepared, but very much flying by the seat of our pants here as we go live here on Instagram and YouTube as well. So again, I think that Novi Howell matchup is going to be super close. Feels like a 4-3 final again to me, like a 3-2 type game. I think both offenses are going to get going. I expect a lot of teams to be pretty sluggish here this first week or so. But ultimately, I think both teams get on the board. I think it's a good back and forth in that one here. I'll put some polls out tomorrow, and we'll see who you guys got. Rockford Byron Center is another one. CJ Pober has done a ton of good work there with Rockford. And then I absolutely love Byron Center. Been a big fan of them for the last 2 years or so. Really think they've got some good things going as far as a program's concerned. Rockford has some new additions, some first-year guys I think that are going to have a fantastic season for the Rams. Look out for them. Court, I believe his name is. Again, no notes, kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. I might need to be a little better prepared moving forward. But Rockford has I think a full line. Fauché is another guy I like out of Rockford. I think they have a full line of first-year guys that are all like pretty high level, talented kids that showed really well in the MDHL. But going up against Byron Center, they got, I believe the Nicholas brothers are still there. I know one of them was a football guy, hoping he comes back. That's for sure. And then the Breet brothers too. Obviously Davis on the back end. So we'll see how that one goes. I could see that one being a bit of a shootout, to be honest with you. If someone gets to 5 goals in that Rockford Byron Center game, I wouldn't be surprised. So one more here on Tuesday. I'm going to have to get going here, pick up pace a little bit. We've been at it I actually don't have a clock, so a couple minutes here. So Marquette Calumet, one more on Tuesday from the UP that I got my eye on. Marquette brings a ton of guys back from last year. They are ripe for a big run in D2. Had a great run last year to the Final Four as well. Didn't quite get to see it, all the way through. I think they might get that shot again this year. Like, they're really good Marquette team. Calumet graduated and lost a couple of their big studs, but they've also got Locus, Tom Urkla there on the back. Tom Urkla, Tim. Yeah, Tim is in Brighton. Tom is up in Calumet. So Tom Urkla on the back end there. So I think the water kind of finds its level a little bit there. Marquette and Calumet very evenly matched, I think, this time around. Calumet with got to be a new goalie in net, starting first after Studebaker had been there for 3 years for the Copper Kings. So that'll be an interesting one to keep your eye on as well. Moving into Wednesday, I got to get going here a little bit. Wednesday, Granville, Hudsonville, the Battle of the Vills. Very excited for that one as well. Granville lost a tough one today to Northeastern, but Coach Brazil does a fantastic job. I love Andrew Arturo over there out of Granville. Will be very interesting to see what kind of year they have. And then going up against Hudsonville, big Aiden Talsma fan. Hudsonville's a scrappy bunch. I think that'll be 2 pretty evenly matched teams. But could be low scoring, like a 2-1, maybe 3-2, that type of thing. So yeah, definitely keep your eye out for the Battle of the Vills there on the west side. One more here. What do I got? Cranbrook, Grosse Pointe South. Look, I think this one is going to be good. Grosse Pointe South, huge strides last year, obviously. Lot of success. I don't want to say unexpected, but they definitely surprised some people and really put South back on the map there. After a big year. So I'll be curious to see what they do this season. I know they got a ton of firepower again. Fully expect them to compete and show well in the MIHL. But Cranbrook is back, man. I think Cranbrook is another one that might have had some maybe down years the last couple of years or didn't quite perform as well as they had hoped. But I think this year they big bounce back with guys like obviously Leighton Stenman on the back end. Alex Saratano is a forward I love. Jack Weinman, another fantastic forward. I think between Stenman on the back end, they've got Holy from Russia, Zvigan, and nonetheless, like Cranbrook, I think is in line to have a really good year too. So that'll be a fantastic first game of the year for both of them. To a good feeling out process. I don't envy those guys. I think that'd be a pretty tough first game to the schedule here, especially after the very unusual lead up that we've had to that. One more, I got a couple more here, but Flint Powers, Midland Dow on that Wednesday night could be a very interesting one there for the middle of the state. Dow, obviously, Billy Van Sumeren, big forward, great size, and he's a junior. Heavy shot. If he gets time and space, he can be deadly, make you pay. Flint Powers is another one. Travis Perry is doing a fantastic job there with Powers. Lot of young guys, and they have a gauntlet of a schedule this year. And I think they might take their bumps and bruises against some really tough opponents. I want to say they even play CC, which is just unreal, right? But Flint Powers, they're a young group, but I think if they play, they're playing a tough schedule. They're going to take their bumps and bruises, but they could learn a ton and really propel them, not just through this year, but the coming seasons. Because I think Powers is a team, I think they got a big freshman and sophomore class that's super talented. That if they don't have success this year, it's gonna propel them for success down the road. So keeping an eye out for Powers as well. Anyways, good matchup there. One here on Thursday. I'm going back to Novi again just because it's the Battle of Novi Ice Arena down on Lidstrom Drive, right? Novi, Northville, two teams that play out of Novi Ice Arena will be a fun one. Kind of bragging rights on home turf there. I think Novi is a really solid team. Like I said, they got a couple playmakers that I like a lot. And Northville could sneak up on some people. I think they might not have big star power or some big names that are going to put up 50, 60 points or something like that. But I do think there's just enough there that they can pull some upsets and sneak up on some people in a very competitive KLAA there. So as we get into Friday here and we get into the weekend, Salem, Riverview, Gabriel Richard, one I'm keeping my eye on. Salem, Ryan Ossenmacher always does a fantastic job out there. You got a couple dangerous goal scorers for Salem. Blanking a little bit on what they have in net. I'm going to have to double check here. I wonder if I can do this on the fly. Forgive me as I talk my way through this and frantically search on the hub here. I believe the goalie they've got is a returner from last year, correct? Let me see if I can confirm or deny. If there's Salem people watching the feed right now, they're screaming at me, "You idiot! You think you know high school hockey? You don't even know who Salem's goalie is." Yeah, Jenneru. There we go, Jenneru. He was in net for him last year, I believe. Junior here, okay, good. So a junior here with some playing time under his belt. I think that goes a long way against a team like Riverview. Gabriel Richard here, who's got some firepower too. Like, don't sleep on Gabriel Richard. I know they graduated Vasquez, who was a hell of a forward for him last year, but they've got some young guys. Oh man, I'm blanking again. I got to pull it up. Bear with me here. They got a couple young forwards that I like a lot too. I want to say they had a freshman, sophomore. Oh, you're killing me, RGR. No roster. All right, let me bounce back one year. Let's see here. Here we go. Had a freshman, sophomore, I think, that had some pretty good seasons last year. As I pull this up on the fly, 13 people on Instagram Live. That's awesome. Welcome, people. Love, appreciate you guys following, listening along. 16 people on YouTube. Love that. You guys have any comments, anything you want to talk about? I'm here for it. So bring it on. Let's see. Sean on sports. Muirhead was a stud. Absolutely. For Novi there, I think he could have another big year. as a sophomore, stood on his head there against Livonia Stevenson last year in the playoffs. Definitely one of the young names to know here in high school hockey. Circling back real quick, Gabriel Richard. Let me see if I can find these. Robbie Childs, that's who I was thinking of. Childs, James Monks, 2 freshmen last year, obviously coming back as sophomores. That biggest jump in development to me is from year 1 to year 2. So I could see those two having a bit of a breakout year. And you know what? It's game 1. Salem is a tough opponent, but Gabriel Richard could sneak up on them, and that to me would be a pretty big upset if Pioneers, I think they're the Pioneers. If the Pioneers pull that one off. Forest Hills Northeastern, East Grand Rapids, another one on Friday. They both played today, both got wins. So they've got their feet wet a little bit. They got the blood pumping. It's not going to be that first shell-shocked, deer in the headlights type look. So that should be a pretty competitive one. Riley Sickinja, Nathan Milanowski out of East Grand Rapids. There's some really top-end guys there. I think Northern Eastern, to me, is a little more balanced through the first 3 lines. I like Nicholson. I like their social media campaigns. That was a hell of a job I saw yesterday or over the weekend, boys. So big shout out there for the green screen work and the graphics and all that stuff. Very, very ESPN appropriate. So definitely love that. But that'll be a super close one. I think it'll be a pretty high scoring one, though. Maybe a challenge to the goalies there. See what you got. Maybe it's like a 6-4 game or 5-3, something like that. That could be pretty exciting for the parents to get fired up and worked up over some goals here. Couple more into the weekend. Big ones in the weekend. Should I save the best for last? Oh, I'm torn. Yeah, I'll save the best for last. One cool one here, kind of got a college hockey feel to it. Forest Hill Central, Mona Shores. If I read the schedule correctly, and this wasn't put in wrong or just on error, it looks like Mona and FHC go Friday, and then they play again on Sunday. Again, look, schedules are going to change. Everything's going to be fluid. We'll see what happens here. If that's the case, I think that's pretty cool. Kind of has that college hockey series feel to it, right? The Friday, Saturday, back-to-back type thing. They go Friday, Sunday. I think that's still a pretty cool matchup, and should be 2 pretty evenly matched teams. So definitely have my eye on that doubleheader. Let's see. And then one here on Saturday, Alpena and Midland. These 2 teams, I feel like are too prove it, looking to prove themselves, right? Looking to kind of climb the ranks throughout the state. Both kind of in that middle tier, middle echelon of high school hockey last year, looking to kind of take that next step. And so this will be a good measuring stick game for both teams, right? To regardless of who comes out the other side of it. Alpena, honestly, haven't seen a ton of them or some of the kids here over the fall. In Midland, obviously, Matthew Witt, super talented kid. I think he could have a huge impact on this game. But Alpena here with a big performance could kind of solidify and put them on the map here in a good way to obviously start the season on a good note and turn some heads, including myself, right? You go out, you knock off a pretty talented, well-coached Midland team, and idiots like me will perk up and pay attention. So nice little one I got my eye on for this weekend. The 2 main events, co-main events, I'll call it. So both on Saturday, actually. First one here, Heartland Brother Rice, 2 D2 teams that have seen plenty of each other over the last couple of years, be it in the regular season and again in big postseason tilts. Heartland has a ton of firepower this year, and I said it on the last podcast that they may very well have the best line in all of high school hockey there. With I think they put Ferguson in the middle, Patilla on one side, and Larson on the other. That could very well be at least for me, the top line in the state right there, the top trio. Brother Rice graduated a ton. They got a ton of first-year guys coming in. I don't think that's reason to overlook them. Just because you're not returning a bunch of guys, Brother Rice is one of those programs that very much reloads, and so I fully expect to see a lot of firepower coming out of them, and will be fun. Next crop of talent coming through for Rice, and see how they do. But yeah, without having seen a ton of them outside of what I saw this fall, I'll be looking forward to seeing kind of what 2021's Warriors look like. So that'll be an exciting one. I gotta probably give the edge to Heartland in that one, but not by much, man. Like I said, Rice might be a little unknown just because they don't return a bunch, but that doesn't mean they're not going to hold their own. That one could be I don't want to say an ugly one. It's two very structured teams. I just think this early in the season, and again with everything we've dealt with the last 2 months, it takes a little while to implement your systems, to execute properly in practice. Some of that stuff takes time, and so I think you could see a bit of a choppy, ugly, pucks constantly getting out of the zone, everybody staying around the perimeter. Kind of a tough, low-scoring affair. But yeah, I would slide the meter a little bit towards Heartland's favor, like I said, just because it's a lot of familiar guys. Piros in net, obviously. I'd consider that an advantage for Heartland. So keep your eye out on that one. Should be a good one. Last one here. I can't believe it's probably the biggest game of the year, and it's in week one. I don't think I'm overselling that. It was far and away the best game of the year. The top game of the year last season. Obviously, it was number one team versus the number two team in the state. And I think if there were preseason polls for this year, maybe that's an idea for next year. Maybe we'll do a preseason poll here. Petey's preseason poll. We'll do something like that maybe in 2022. But if there was a preseason poll for this year, I would put these teams 1A, 1B, because they're that good, they're that talented, they're that deep. Should be a fun one here Saturday night. I can't imagine having this one on the schedule here in week one, but Stevenson and Detroit Catholic Central going to be a big, big matchup. Ton of talent on the ice. You're going to have some heavy hitters, Brendan Quick, Beal on the back end. Beal on the back end for CC. Stevenson has a whole bunch, right? Nick Justice, Aiden Adamick, Strobel in net, Molesky in net is another goaltender for them. Both those guys very talented, and gives Dave Mitchell some options there in net. Forwards up front, Brendan Hurd, Kimball. I'm blanking on a couple other ones, big names, right? Like CC, on the other hand, again, has a lot of first-year guys, but that's no reason to sleep on them. Another reload effort there by Brandon Kalnicki and a fantastic program there. A lot of first-year guys. Hamilton is one that stands out in my mind. Shields is another one. They were fantastic in the MDHL. Some of the best forwards in the league, or in the mix, right, among the best in the league there. So I think those are guys that could be immediate contributors for Catholic Central. Ultimately, I think it comes down to depth. I don't think I don't like Stevenson has some high end guys. CC, I think, has a much more even attack, maybe 1 through 4. In the up front in the lines. Stevenson, I could see an Ian Kimball or a Ethan Waldo playing a big factor in this one. Is it Ethan Waldo? I think it's Ethan. There's another Waldo for Ann Arbor, Gabriel Richard, that I get the two names. Jack Waldo is the one in Ann Arbor. So yeah, Ethan Waldo, Ian Kimball. I could see those guys playing a major factor in this one. And Stevenson maybe relying on that scoring depth a little bit there to help get the job done. Because ultimately, I think some of your top guys end up canceling each other out. They spend so much time defending one another that neither one either really ends up threatening. So I'd say Kimball and Waldo on Stevenson could be big game breakers. Conversely, Catholic Central, two very talented goalies. Bobby Masters was a personal favorite of mine. from the MDHL. He's a fantastic goalie, first year guy, could potentially steal the spotlight and be the best goalie in the state, right? Like I've said it a couple times. The answer to the best goalie in the state is not a clear cut answer. It's very much for debate, and really anyone can jump up and take that title. I think in 2021, Bobby Masters, very talented goalie, very athletic. He's one that I think, hell, with a big win like this and in week one, he's a kid who could kind of propel himself into that conversation, and ultimately with a good season could end up being in the mix there. So those are my picks, my matchups for week one here. Again, at Petey's Picks _ on Twitter, at Petey's.picks on Instagram. I'm here on YouTube as well. Like, follow, subscribe. DMs are open. Comment anything you guys want to talk about when it comes to high school hockey. I'm all about it here. So coaching, philosophy, anything, scouts. I've heard from some scouts too, looking for names and suggestions, and teams to watch, things to pay attention to. So that's always exciting too. So yeah, looking forward to it. Look, week one. I'm excited. I'm hit the ground running. Games every single day of the week. Follow me. We'll be tweeting out picks, polls, do some game recaps, all sorts of stuff, player features and stuff like that. Make sure you're on Instagram. We'll do players of the week and big performances and all that stuff. So it should be an exciting season. There's only 5 weeks until playoffs here. Playoff draws and division alignments should come out later this week, I'm told. But it's going to be an absolute sprint the next 5 weeks, and I think it's going to make for some cool moments and exciting hockey for sure. So that's it for week one. I'm Craig Peterson. Petey, you see me around the rink, say what's up. That's it. Skate hard, have fun, enjoy the week. We'll see you next week.